You look tired.
Tired is kicking my ass. I would kill somebody for a carb right now.
I don't know where you could find one.
You are such a bitch.
Oh, would you like a bite? Come on, eat the fucking sandwich.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we're the Movie Bros.
Two regular guys bring you honest movie reviews you can trust.
And today, we're bringing you a movie review, Bad Education.
Yeah, this one stars Hugh Jackman as Superintendent Frank Tassone and Allison Janney as his partner.
Currently, this movie has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 94% and an audience rating of 84%. While you have a second, why don't you make sure you smash that like button? Helps us out on the YouTube algorithm. So what'd you think about the movie?
I thought this one was interesting. I really appreciated getting to see Hugh Jackman in a non-action role. I really feel like ever since seeing him in The Greatest Showman that he's opened up his range a little bit to do some more dramatic movies. And I think this was a good way for him to showcase some of those talents.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting movie. It was dated for the early 2000s. The movie is based on a true story from a school system in New Jersey, New York?
So it's set on Long Island. It's Roslyn High School.
It's essentially a story of corruption and embezzlement where a superintendent and maybe a couple other people, I'm not sure of the true events, but they embezzled $11 million. And this movie is a little overview of that. So, what did you like about the movie?
You know, I thought the movie was okay. I don't necessarily agree with the Rotten Tomatoes score. We'll kind of get there in our scoring, but it was a little bit slow for me. The progression was quite slow. You kind of follow Hugh Jackman's character along through these events, and you start to slowly get pieces of what's unfolding, but you're not really sure about what's going on. In a way I could appreciate this. I enjoyed that they didn't just kind of throw it all on the table and let you know. You kind of had to figure out, okay, who's really involved in the scheme of embezzlement? Is it the assistant to the superintendent? Is the superintendent himself? And it's not something that you really find out until about halfway through the movie.
No, absolutely. I think there was a lot of shocking moments as you're going through the movie and you're like, oh. But again, the movie was slow. It took a long time to get you to those points. And it's like they only did one reveal every act. So there's like 3 major reveals throughout the whole movie. And it took a long time. You had to get through a whole act in order to get to that movie reveal. I agree. It was nice to see Hugh Jackman in a non-action role. And to see him expand a little bit of range there. I really bought into his character. He was definitely kind of darkishly charismatic throughout the film. There was definitely some deceptiveness in the movie, but it was neat. It was a good story, but I agree, my idea and scoring of the movie wasn't along with the audience score or the critic score.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for me, I was just hoping for a little bit more. They set up for this huge scandal when you read the synopsis, and eventually it does end up getting there, but like the path to that point, it just kind of drags on and on. I think one of the more interesting points for me about the movie, without giving anything too major away, is just looking at the impact of this scandal. Here we have a Roslyn High School, which the superintendent had brought up to be one of the top in the nation at the time. Property values in the area were skyrocketing. Everybody was pretty happy. And along comes this school reporter who kind of digs through and gets the story that there might be this mishandling of money. And the way that it tears down the community, I think, is really interesting. For me, it actually begged the question, when you're looking at it and everyone's actually doing well, how wrong was it?
Yeah, interesting thought. I did like how, so it's my understanding that in the real aspect of the story that it was multiple individuals who actually contributed to the breaking of the story. But I liked how they kind of centralized it as this one high school reporter who was trying to break a story. I did like that aspect. I do think it's interesting how the impact, how far reaching it was, right? When the scandal did break loose, the massive impact that it had on the community, not just the individual, not just the students at that time, but even future students.
Yeah, we looked this one up, and Roslyn High School went from being ranked 4 in the nation to now it's like in the 300s. So granted that it's over the course of almost 20 years later, but still just really interesting to watch its fall from grace in that way.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, what'd you think? What are you going to score this one?
There wasn't a lot to this movie that really spoke to me. Honestly, I thought this could have been, you know, a Lifetime 3-part miniseries, and I might have probably done just as well. Honestly, I thought the movie was disappointment after disappointment. I'm going to give this one a 6.
Yeah, I can appreciate some of like the nonfiction works, and I like that it did try to tell this story that you may not have been aware of. I liked the acting, but man, it definitely was a slow grind. So I'm gonna give this one a 6.5.
If you guys know a movie out there that you think we should watch and review, make sure you drop it in the comments below. Other than that, we'll see you guys on the next one. Movie Bros out.
Some people, they'll do the most horrible things.